Why, hello there! My name is Kenji Dick.
And I'm Gabby Taylor.
And this is Wittenberg Radio. It is episode 121, and it is September 17th, 2018. On this edition of the show, we talk to Esther Hardy, the Student Council President, and talk about her plans for the upcoming school year.
And Marilyn Peters Kliewer joins us, the Dean of Student Life.
And we're going to be playing the music of Joe Proulx on the show.
Get ready to hear the voices of some of your classmates at CMU. They share why they're excited for CMU this year.
But before we get to that, let's talk about some new changes on the show.
Wittenberg is now a bi-weekly podcast, releasing every other Monday evening.
And the runtime of our bi-weekly episodes will now be 20 minutes long. So if you have anything to say about CMU or about the existence of the Wittenberg door, if you want to voice your opinions, concerns, or anything regarding issues at CMU or CMU itself, this is the place to do it. Leave a note on the Wittenberg door with your name and date, and you can find the Wittenberg door on the South Campus and the Student Center right beside the reception desk. We hope to see your post up there very soon. And now, let's talk about upcoming events. From September 21st to the 22nd, we're going to be having Fall at CMU. There's going to be alumni reunions, a farmer's market, a bike race, as well as many other exciting and cool events. The other event that's going to be happening this weekend is going to be the MPK Folk Fest on September 22nd. This is a wonderful event where numerous talented musicians all over campus come to play in the name of MPK. It is going to be starting at 3 p.m. in the back 40. And finally, the Peer-Assisted Learning Program will be starting this Monday. If you need any help with any of your assignments or essays at all, this is the group to go to. They meet in Marpeck Commons from 12 to 4 from Monday to Thursdays.
There's lots to do this weekend in Winnipeg. On September 21st at 7 p.m., it is the Jets' first preseason game. September 29th hosts two big events. It is the pop-up powwow at the Forks, as well as Nuit Blanche in the Exchange.
My name is Jean. I really just appreciate all the lively activity that always occurs at CMU. There's always a chance to get out and meet new people. And yeah.
My name's Danielle. Yeah, CMU's great. And I am just having a blast. And the sense of community here is just awesome.
I'm Mike. And I think my favorite part about CMU is how easy it is to connect with people.
This week, we had Esther Hardy in the studio, the Student Council President. We talked about her plans for the Student Council this year, what upcoming events that students should be aware of, and also she gave advice for first-year students. Here she is. So, thank you so much, Esther, for coming into the studio today. I really appreciate it. And first question I just want to ask, how are you doing? It's been a week and a half since school began. How are things going for you?
Things are going great. I'm really excited about this school year. Everything has been off to a really good start. I think Student Council has lots of fun ideas, a lot of great ideas. They're really motivated and just really energetic. So we meet once a week just to discuss things that are going on and things that we would like to do with the school, things that we've been hearing and things that we think we should present to the Student Council body and things that we need to discuss. So yeah, my role is mostly meetings.
Right.
Yeah, and there's another thing, like fun things on the side that I can do. So for example, CMU always hosts a high school leadership lunch, which is actually going to be next week. So I'll be speaking at that. So I just do little things like that. I meet with people who want to bring something to the school, and I try my best to mediate between them and the student body.
What does the Student Council strive to achieve precisely here at CMU?
For this year specifically, I feel a strong sense of unity between the council and their desire to bring all the different groups of CMU together. I feel like there's just this huge desire to bring all of these groups together through the different events that Student Council will host.
I want to go back to when you were originally elected back in April, or March roughly so of last year. I want to just ask you, so what drew you to the leadership of the Student Council, and why did you precisely want to be a leader of the Student Council?
That's a good question. I think it's something I've always wanted to do. Leadership is something I've always been really good at, something I've always been really interested in and just really passionate about. And I just felt like I had so much knowledge that I really wanted to share. And seeing that the student council interest was primarily people who were new to the CMU Student Council, I just really had this huge desire to take what I've learned over my few years here on leadership at CMU and just be a good mentor for people and help people as they explore ideas and events and just try to help them in their leadership abilities as well. So that was one of the main reasons why.
So I just want to ask now, what is your advice for first-year students this year from a leadership position?
Well, I'm very biased, so I kind of want to say get involved in all of our events that we're throwing. And it's biased because I really want our committee members, our student council leaders to feel encouraged by the events that they're throwing, have good attendance. But I also believe it's actually really valuable to students and their lives and their well-being. Just being aware of how to allocate time to different things in your life. So not just focusing just on your studies and ignoring all of your socialization that you get to do, and not only just focusing on your social life and forgetting about your school. There really needs to be a balance. And I think student council allows for that balance to happen by throwing all these different events. From personal experience, the more I've gone out and just been with people, I feel more energized to go back and do my schoolwork. So,
excellent.
yeah.
And finally, if students want to engage with the student council this year or potentially next year, in what ways can they do that?
So the forms were due on Friday, but we're having the student council elections on Monday. So first year students can go and listen to the presentations that the first year students have prepared and vote for who they want to represent them as first year students. So that's one way they can get involved. Another way is our student council meetings are open to everyone. So if we meet Mondays at 12:10 in room C09 on the South Side campus. So if students just want to pop in and see what student council is all about, what we're talking about in our meetings, they can feel free to come to that. And then also, they can join a committee. So there's a bunch of different committees with different interests and focuses, such as like sports and rec, witness through service, arts and entertainment. Those are just 3 of the many committees that are a part of student council. So I would just encourage first year students to find what they're really passionate about and just key into those key committees and try and help out in the best way that they can.
Excellent. Before we end this interview, is there anything else you'd like to say about the student council or to any of our listeners?
I would just encourage listeners to come and talk to us. We are a very excited, energetic group of leaders who just really want to connect with the student body. And I know that it's a passion and desire of every student leader on student council to not only host fun events, but host events that matter to the student body. So if you don't like what we're doing or you want to see a change or you have suggestions, we are really open to it. And for this month of September, student council members will be wearing their blue student leadership shirts, so you can find us easier. They're very bright, so you won't have trouble missing us. So yeah, I would just encourage students to come talk to us because we're all really friendly and we're looking out for your best interests, not our own. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Esther, and I wish you the
welcome.
best on the student council this year.
Thank you very much. It was great talking with you.
We ventured outside the studio and visited Marilyn Peters Kliewer in her office. We discussed what it's like to be the Dean of Student Life and how, as a 3rd, 4th, or 5th year student at CMU, you can reach out to first years.
I would say my struggles as a student were I love to socialize and I love to be a part of everything, and I lived in the dorm here at CMBC at that time, and I didn't ever want to miss out on anything, and I think that's still something that students struggle with today is trying to prioritize study, socialize, and sleep. And so if you don't spend enough time studying, that's difficult. If you don't spend enough time sleeping, that's difficult. So prioritizing the 3 S's: study, socialize, and sleep.
How do you advise people to figure out what works for them?
Yeah. And I think to a certain extent, every person's personality is a little bit different. And for some people, they need more sleep than others, and some people need to study more than others. But I think it really is important if people can figure that out and
Have you seen change in student life since you started working at CMU?
I'd say some of the biggest changes are, it used to be people wrote all their essays by hand, and then people went to the typewriter, and of course everyone does everything on the computer now. And I'd say another big area is the cell phones. People used to just have, no one had a cell phone, and so you had to communicate it in a lot different way, and so now people can always chat with people through their electronic devices.
Have you noticed it's been harder or easier to connect with student life with cell phones?
That's a really good question, because in some ways you'd think the cell phones would make it so much easier, but it used to be people just would have to meet in clumps and groups and all gather to kind of decide where they were going to go. And I find that now a lot of times people are kind of non-committal. They'll have a Facebook book, but they don't know if they're going to be committal to actually going to that group, and you have a lot of different options even for one evening, and so it changes things. And it's that's an interesting question.
Do you miss the clumps of people?
Well, good thing we still do have clumps of people for events, and I think there's I think the interesting thing is, even though we have so much social media, communication is still one of the number one challenges to how to figure out how to invite people to events, how to invite people to participate, how to ask people to be committed to participating in things. It's interesting. That's still a really big challenge.
How do you advise someone who's never been involved in any kind of student activity? How do you advise them to get interested in it?
Yeah, I think sometimes if people aren't involved, they think, well, I can't get involved now. I kind of missed the first couple of weeks. But I'd say, just step out there, connect with somebody, and if somebody's going to an event, take the initiative to also participate. Even though it takes a little bit of courage and energy, I'd say that's the number one thing of really feeling connected, is to just take the effort to become involved in something. If you take the effort to do that, you will become more connected, and if you become more connected, you'll develop this sense of belonging, and that's what's going to help you to succeed.
Do you notice a difference in the social life of first years and graduating students?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of first years are still a lot more keen on being connected, even though they might be shy and reserved. There's that real inward desire to be more connected. I find that graduate students, people who are graduating, often have a significant group or a couple people that they really care about, and they're not as concerned about getting to know the other 100 new students.
How would you advise the graduating students to get to know the new students?
Yeah, I think graduating students can have a very positive impact on, first and second, third year students, and I think I've seen it like in student council and other committees where senior students took a leadership role, and it had a very positive impact.
How do you suggest a first-year student reaching out to a mature student?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I think more mature students often don't realize how intimidating they are to first years. And if students think back to their first year, like how do they look at third and fourth and fifth year students? And I think returning students or senior students need to realize that it is difficult for first years. But I think for first years, even through some structures, like whether it's academic support, through PAL, to be connected, take initiative to be connected to those students could be a valuable experience for them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Did you have any last words of wisdom?
I would just like to say that I personally just really value working in a university experience. I love working with college-age students. I really love developing programs on our campus that will help students to succeed. And I would just really like to wish everyone a really great 2018-2019.
Wittenberg's musical guest this week is Joe Proulx. He's a fourth-year communications and media student at CMU. Joe is a local hip-hop producer, and this is his song, Citrus.
It's time for a break. Time to open your refrigerator for a refreshing taste of sunny Florida.
Yeah. Making all this music, that's my interest. Root is cracked up from the ground. I'm a natural like citrus. Y'all know this delicious. I get back into fitness so I can lap y'all with the quickness. Testing y'all scientifically with the litmus. Wanna start a business, but being happy about it might look suspicious. I stack directed with the baggy fit. Everything's slump when I sit. I can turn a fart into a 90-second skit. I never got high on thoughts, so I'm never taking hits. I know that I got people tossing out the albums like it's the fire pits. I got MCs that's been doing it way longer, throwing fits. We ain't got to shoot them, but I can say that things are gritty. I can look at my fiance and say that she looking pretty. I'm making orchestral numbers out of nothing but the keys and MIDI. I got this music so potent that my homes are getting a little tipsy. Screwdriver skinny. Don't want to miss this, never want to dismiss my enemies fistless. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. Don't want to miss this, never want to dismiss my enemies fistless. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. Yeah. All these things surrounding me could be my poison. It seems like everybody just wants you to keep your noise in, but screw it, I'ma let it out. Never smoked a toke or did some coke, but I don't look for dead ends. I be on a different route. Eastside is my place, Mamako gonna represent the South. I be trying to really end, so watch out, you might be the trout. I've been explaining it's the changing of the season, but why are the nights hot and the days are always freezing? Feel like I'm blocked out of the Garden of Eden, while my depression deepen. I'm the deacon of my own depletion. I feel lonely in my passion, that's why I'm never speaking. This light's a beacon to my region, cause it scares off my demons. But what's the meaning of this? That's a fantastic question. My confession of aimlessness allowed him to point to a profession, but not obsession. Lemons into lemonade, feel it in my blood, but I'm never dismayed. Push that volume up, even though we all got a fade. But while you're pulling a LeBron, you're drinking that just to get paid. Notice that when it goes down, it's hard like a grapefruit. Bittersweet, but the art first, never sacrifice the truth. Step to it, 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 step to it. What you know about this? Don't want to miss this, never want to dismiss my enemies fistless. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. Don't want to miss this, never want to dismiss my enemies fistless. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. So I gotta hit them with the citrus. Forgot to mention flat oranges.
Yeah. Whenever anyone at your house needs a break, make it an orange juice break. It's time.
And that brings an end to our show. Thank you once again for listening to Wittenberg Radio. If you want to listen to future episodes of the show, remember to tune here on our website every other Monday. My name is Kenji Dick.
And I'm Gabby Taylor.
And we'll see you next time.
Wittenberg Radio is a production of CMU Student Council. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and guests are not necessarily those of CMU Student Council.